This is a continuation of the previous lecture. In the previous lecture, we already explained what do you mean by frequency shifting property and how we can apply frequency shifting property to solve the problems. So this is a continuation of the previous one. So in this particular lecture, we'll discuss the proof and we'll also discuss the remaining problems. In the last lecture, we already discussed problems x of t is equal to cos omega 0 to d of t and sin omega 0 to d of t. Now we'll discuss the remaining questions. Okay. So this is a frequency shifting property which is already explained. Anyway, now we need to discuss about the proof. Okay. If there is a signal x of t and assume that its transform continuous time Fourier transform is given by x of j omega, and which is written by integral minus infinity to infinity x of t into e raised to minus j omega t dt. So this is a mathematical expression to find Fourier transform of the signal x of t, and which is represented as x of j omega. So this is a continuous time Fourier transform. Now we need to find the Fourier transform of the signal e raised to j omega 0 t into x of t. So here, this is the Fourier transform of the signal x of t. Now we need to find the Fourier transform of the signal e raised to j omega 0 t into x of t. The original signal is multiplied by an exponential term e raised to j omega 0 t. And if you find the Fourier transform of this particular signal, you can substitute in this particular equation. It becomes integral minus infinity to infinity. In place of x of t, we need to substitute e raised to j omega 0 t into x of t. So this is a new signal, and e raised to minus j omega t dt. Now we can rearrange this particular equation. So it becomes integral minus infinity to infinity x of t into e raised to minus, actually there are two exponential term. One is e raised to j omega 0 t, another one is e raised to minus j omega t. And now we can group these two. So you'll get e raised to minus j omega minus omega 0 into t dt. Now, if you observe these two equations, in the previous case, you can see that if the given expression is contain omega, so we'll write x of j omega. Now, in place of omega, it is omega minus omega 0. So we can write the expression x of j in place of omega, you can write omega minus omega 0. So this is a proof for frequency shifting property. Okay. Or in other words, we can say that the complex modulation in time domain corresponds to a shift of x of j omega in frequency domain. Okay. So if there is any signal in time domain, for example, if the signal transform is x of j omega, something like this, okay, there is a signal, and if you perform the multiplication operation of the signal with e raised to j omega 0 t in time domain, in frequency domain, you will get a new signal, which is a shifted version of the original transform. So this will be the new transform, omega minus omega 0. Okay, the entire signal is shifted to new position. So this is the frequency shifting property. Now we'll discuss the remaining question. We already explained the transform of cos omega 0 t and cos omega 0 of t into u of t. Now the signal is different. It is e raised to minus 80 into e raised to minus 80 into cos omega 0 t into u of t. So this problem we can approach in different way. Directly, you can substitute in this particular equation and we can solve. Instead of that, we will see how we can apply the frequency shifting property in this particular problem. So if you rearrange this particular question, it becomes cos omega 0 t into e raised to minus 80 into u of t. See, in the first lecture, we already derived the transform of e raised to minus 80 into u of t, which is given by 1 by a plus j omega. So if you know this particular result, you can easily find out the transform of the signal e raised to minus at into cos omega 0 t into u of t. Okay. So by Euler's formula, you can expand this cos omega 0 t, and you can consider this e raised to minus at into u of t as a single term. And we know the transform of the signal, that is 1 by a plus g omega. So if you multiply, now we can find the Fourier transform. We need to find the Fourier transform of this particular signal. Okay. And we can expand cos omega 0 t by using the Euler's formula. So you can write it becomes e raised to j omega 0 t into e raised to minus at u of t. You can consider this as a single term, plus e raised to minus j omega 0 t into e raised to minus at into u of t. Okay. And divided by 2. Now we can apply linearity property. Individually, we can find the transform, and finally we can compare. Okay. So if you split this equation, it becomes 1 by 2 for a transform of e raised to j omega 0 t into e raised to minus at into u of t, plus 1 by 2 the Fourier transform of the signal e raised to minus j omega 0 t into e raised to minus at into u of t. So from the standard result, we know that e raised to minus at into u of t, or the Fourier transform of this particular signal, continuous time Fourier transform of the signal e raised to minus at into u of t, is given by the relation 1 by a plus j omega. And if you want to find out the Fourier transform of e raised to j omega 0 t into x of t, okay, then it's simply the shifted version of the original transform. That's a property. So here we can consider e raised to minus at into u of t as a single signal x of t, and we know the transform of the signal. And if you are multiplying the given signal with e raised to j omega 0 t, the transform will be simply the shifted version. So a plus j omega minus omega 0. Okay. Similarly, the second term, we can write it's e raised to minus j omega 0 t into e raised to minus at into u of t. Okay. And the transform of the signal will be a shifted version of the signal. Here it is minus omega 0. So we can write a plus j omega plus omega 0. Now we got the individual transform. Now we can combine these two results, and finally we can write the Fourier transform of the signal e raised to minus at cos omega 0 t into u of t. So actually, by applying linearity property, you can write it's 1 by 2, and the first part is 1 by a plus j omega minus omega 0. Okay, 1 by 2 is a common term, plus the remaining term 1 by a plus j omega plus omega 0. Now if you take the LCM of these two quantities, it becomes 1 by 2, and in the numerator it becomes 2 a plus j omega, and in the denominator it's a plus j omega the whole square plus omega 0 the whole square. And finally you can conclude 2 will be cancelled, simply a plus j omega divided by a plus j omega the whole square plus omega 0 the whole square. So this is the transform of the signal e raised to minus at into cos omega 0 t into u of t. This is also a standard signal. You can remember this result. Okay. Now we'll discuss another question, which is simply the same format, but the only difference is sine omega 0 t into u of t. So we can find the Fourier transform of the signal by simply changing sign in Euler's expansion. So it becomes e raised to minus j, sorry, e raised to j omega 0 t minus e raised to minus j omega 0 t by 2j into, so you can consider this as a single term, and remaining term e raised to minus 80 into u of t. Okay, now we can find the Fourier transform, and we can split this, so it becomes 1 by 2j Fourier transform of e raised to j omega 0 t into e raised to minus 80 into u of t, and next term is minus 1 by 2j, the Fourier transform of the remaining term, that is e raised to minus j omega 0 t into e raised to minus 80 into u of t. And if we take the first case, e raised to minus 80 into u of t is simply written as, by using the standard result, you can write 1 by a plus j omega. And the second term, and if you find out e raised to j omega 0 t into e raised to minus 80 into u of t, the result becomes 1 by a plus j omega minus omega 0. Okay. Similarly, the next term, it's e raised to minus j omega 0 t into e raised to minus 80 into u of t. As we explained in the previous case, it's simply a plus j omega plus omega 0. Now we need to simplify this. So the Fourier transform of the signal e raised to minus 80 into sine omega 0 t into u of t, we can apply the linearity property here. Already we applied frequency shifting property. Now we can apply linearity property, and you can combine the result. It's 1 by 2j. Within bracket, the transform of the first term is 1 by a plus j omega minus omega 0 minus 1 by a plus j omega minus omega 0. Sorry, omega plus omega 0. Okay. Now we can simplify this, and if you take the LCM and 1 by 2j, and in the numerator you will get a plus j omega plus j omega 0 minus a minus j omega 0 plus j omega 0. Sorry, here it is omega, and the denominator will be the same, a plus j omega the whole square plus omega 0 the whole square. And if you simplify this, you will get omega 0 divided by a plus j omega the whole square plus omega 0 the whole square. Okay, this is the final result. This a will be cancelled, j omega will also cancel, and remaining time will be j omega 0 plus j omega 0. And if you add, you will get 2 j omega 0, and 2 will be cancelled, and j also cancel. So this is the final answer. Now we'll discuss the last problem, and this actually explain the another concept which is known as the modulation theorem or modulation property. So we already explained the frequency shifting property, and we mentioned that it's equivalent to the complex modulation. Here, a given signal is x of t into cos omega 0 t, and we need to prove that the final result will be 1 by 2 x of j omega minus omega 0 plus 1 by 2 x of j omega plus x of 0 if it is cos. And this is actually the amplitude modulation concept, and we are multiplying the given signal with a sinusoidal signal, okay, a sinusoidal carrier. So for explaining this, assume that the transform of the signal x of t is x of j omega. Okay, continuous time Fourier transform of the signal is x of j omega. In the first case, we need to find the Fourier transform. Okay, this is actually the Fourier transform. Okay, this is the continuous time Fourier transform of the signal, not equal. It's actually the continuous time Fourier transform of the signal. And now we can find the Fourier transform of the signal cos omega 0 t into x of t. Okay. Now we can apply the Euler's formula. So you can rewrite this. This is a Fourier transform of cos. You can split e raised to j omega 0 t plus e raised to minus j omega 0 t by 2 into x of t. Okay, and if you rewrite this equation, 1 by 2 is common, then the Fourier transform of e raised to j omega 0 t into x of t will be the first term, and the second term will be 1 by 2 the Fourier transform of e raised to minus j omega 0 t into x of t. Okay, and by applying the property, we know that e raised to j omega 0 t into x of t is x of j omega minus omega 0. So that's a frequency shifting property. So if you apply the frequency shifting property, it becomes 1 by 2, and the transform of x of t is x of j omega. Now we can write x of j omega minus omega 0 in the first case by applying the frequency shifting property. And we can also apply the linearity property here, because we need to find the transform of the two different signals. Okay, so we can apply the linearity property and time shifting, frequency shifting property. You can write 1 by 2 x of j omega minus omega 0 plus 1 by 2, the transform of the second term is x of j omega plus omega 0. Okay, so this is a proof for the first equation. And for the second signal, it's simply sine omega 0 t. And if you find the Fourier transform of sine omega 0 t into x of t, again, you can apply Euler's formula, and you can write it's 1 by 2j. Okay, 1 by 2j Fourier transform of e raised to j omega 0 t into x of t minus 1 by 2j Fourier transform of e raised to minus j omega 0 t into x of t. And if you apply the frequency shifting property and the linearity property, you can write 1 by 2j. It becomes x of j omega minus omega 0 first term, and the second term is minus 1 by 2j into x of j omega plus omega 0. Okay, so in this particular expression, it's simply minus j into, so you can take this as 1 by 2j j outside. So if you multiply with j in the numerator and denominator, so the second time becomes positive. Okay, so if you rearrange this particular equation, it becomes j into j, it becomes minus j by 2, and it's x of j omega minus omega 0 minus x of j omega plus omega 0. Okay, so there is a small correction in the question. Okay, it's actually written minus j x of j omega minus omega 0 plus. It's actually minus here. Okay. Okay, otherwise you can write the first term. If you multiply with minus, then x of j omega plus omega 0 will be the first term. That's the only difference. So please correct this particular question. Okay, if you are taking the minus j as a term, sorry, here I think the minus j is taken as a common term. So I think I made a mistake here. I will correct it. If minus j is taken as common term, definitely this term becomes plus, and the first term becomes minus. So please correct this. Okay. So it's the first term become minus. Okay. It's minus 1 by 2 x of j omega minus omega 0. Okay. If you take minus j as a common term. Okay. So minus j as a common. So minus x of j omega minus omega 0 plus x of j omega. Okay, thank you.